Welcome back to the channel. I was recently able to visit my parents and they have a new greenhouse. It is a Sungrow Greenhouse from Planta Greenhouses, 10 feet wide by 26 feet long, and it was delivered on pallets, so they have been putting it together themselves. This summer they finished putting in a raised bed, so they've had their garden going for just a few months, and I asked my mom to show me what they had going on inside.
It's kind of a mess.
Okay, go ahead, Mom. So just talk about you raised it up. You built it
The
on.
directions said you could either put it on a wood base or you could use the extensions and put it in the ground, and we chose to do a wood base. If we had it to do again, we would put the extensions in the ground because it's really hard to seal the panels against the wood. But it holds up really well because of the shape. It sloughs the snow really well. We had several feet of snow several times this past winter, and we didn't have any issues with anything coming apart, and it withstood the wind and the snow, the storms. In here we chose to put down plastic and do a raised bed because we've got so much bindweed and a lot of problems with other weeds. So on the back, to have depth, we put a plywood back that is obviously protected by our plastic that we brought up over, and then we went 2 cinder blocks high. The bottom cinder block, the plastic comes up underneath just to help seal it. From any weeds growing up the front. Then we filled it with just kind of whatever we could find. We put some cardboard on the bottom to protect the plastic as we were working with it, and then filled it with compost and peat moss and perlite to keep it nice and loose, allow easy growth and easy harvest. First, nothing was growing in here because it was really cold. We had a really wet June, and we were planting towards the middle to end of June, and then it just got into the 90s and 100. So our leaf lettuce all bolted. We will replant that. Our basil is bolting, but our celery, the mizuna, the leeks, the carrots are doing really well. We are harvesting stuff from those. The green beans got really sunburned, so we added some old sheets up in the top to help provide some shade. And with the sun passing over, different things have shade throughout the day, and that has helped with sun bleaching of some of the plants. Then we planted some Asian greens and peppers. We planted a cucumber and a zucchini, and those have been doing well. About 10 days ago, we added this gutter and have put some strawberry plants in there, and we're kind of waiting for them to really start to take off. So we just water those as we go, and come in and water everything else. Once I had planted, I got some straw, and I put the straw down to help keep the moisture in the soil, and that helped everything germinate. And we've noticed that even when it gets really hot in here, having that straw down, when you stick your finger down in the soil, it is retaining the moisture even with the heat. It's not just evaporating off. The middle vent is a manual vent that you have to open and close manually. And right now, this time of year, we're just leaving it open 24/7. And then on each end, we have 2 auto vents, and they open and close. And they tend to close at night when it's cooler, and then they open again once it gets warm. There's a mantis on that bar down there by that auto vent. Do you see it? And I do have some praying mantises in here, so I'm very excited to have praying mantises in my greenhouse. There's doors on each end, and this greenhouse faces east and west. And so we can open the top of the door and keep the bottom closed, which keeps rabbits and deer and different animals out, but it allows for the venting of the heat throughout the day. And both ends work that way. We've also had a lot of ladybugs and different good pollinators in here, which has helped quite a bit.
How big is it?
It is 10 by 26.
And then the barrels eventually.
We're going to cut the barrels. We had put them in here full of water to see if it helped retain heat over the winter. It really didn't do anything for us. We're going to cut them, and on this other side of the greenhouse, make planters out of them. We used those 2 barrels as potato barrels. One we've harvested because the plants all died back. We got some potatoes. The second barrel, the plants are still green, so we're continuing to water it, and we'll wait to dig it until those bloom and die completely back. So, for our very first attempt, we feel like we've learned a lot, and it's going pretty well.
So that is what they have going on right now so far in their greenhouse with what they've got planted and plans for the future. I wanted to show you some of the other features that this greenhouse has. So everything is metal on this, all the framing and the handles and everything. The handles are just a simple latch here, but it is really nice with these doors that you can hook it open. It has a hook that comes with it and a loop on the door so it doesn't swing back and forth when you're trying to use it. But you can keep this bottom portion closed, keep animals out, and still have the ventilation here on the top. Inside, this is the door from the inside, and it's just a easy latch to close it from the inside or the outside. And again, everything's all metal here. So here's a couple pictures of when they were building it, just what the framing and everything looks like as they were going through and putting this together. So this is how it looks on the inside. You can see how it's connected to the wood base, and it does have an air gap there on that edge, but it is nice and strong going all the way up to the peak. And that is part of why they really liked this greenhouse, is it has a peak so that the snow will come off, and it is really nice and strong for the wind and all the other weather that they have in the area that they live in. My dad said if he could change how they did this wood base, he would push the wood inside more so that the panel could run down the outside edge of the wood. With it in the middle, he had to cut the panel to fit on top. If you look on the Planta website, though, the examples with the wood base do have the panel cut at the top of the wood, so he was following that. But if it might be an idea to try to get the panel around the wood so that you can eliminate the air gap that's right there at the top where the wood and panel meet. And this is just more of what it looks like on the outside, connecting down to the wood base, and that's part of what makes it nice and strong and wind resistant and snow and all that. So on this side you can see it doesn't have windows. There are 3 windows that they could put on this side. My dad said they're a little tricky, and with it being fall, they'll probably wait for that. overall, this is a really cool greenhouse, and I can't wait to see what they are able to do with it. Thanks for watching.